Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a beautiful sunny Moscow region. Now today, I thought I'd take you for a bit of a walk around of a shopping mall, but it's a little bit of a different type of shopping mall. I think you might find it very interesting. The actual place we're going to see is right in front of us here, and it's actually called a yarmarka in Russian, or that translates to a fair. And this is actually a building materials fair or shopping center. And this is actually pretty much where I live. Now, if you look at the building right behind there, that's not my building, mine's the building behind that building, if that makes sense. So I'm literally a 5 or 7 minute walk from here. And this is a building materials shop that also has things for any type of house construction and any type of remodeling that you might want to do. And this is incredibly typical in Russia. These are all over Russia, no matter any city that you go to. Now they might be a little bit bigger or smaller. There is actually 2 yarmarkas here. The second one, which is off in the distance over here, is actually a food fair or food shopping center. And it's more like a food market, really. However, we want to go and see the building materials one and see what's currently available. If you're wondering where we actually are in Moscow region, I'll actually put a pinned link to this place in the description and also a map link as well. We're right by Kiev Highway, which is the main highway that leads from Moscow in the southwest direction. Behind those trees way off in the distance would actually be Vnukovo Airport, and it's actually around about 15 minutes by car from here, but very close to the airport as well. And when I tell people where I live, I always mention the airport, and then they know which region of Moscow that I live in. So this particular market has absolutely anything and everything that you want for building a house, fixing something, replacing something. And what I'll do my best to walk around as much as I can and show you things. Now actually outside here they've just got some displays of brickwork and paneling and things for doing siding on buildings, and if you want to do pavements. So there would actually be a stand inside where they're selling these, or there'll be someone that you can buy them off. And generally things like this would be delivered to you. They won't have this in stock in the shops physically, but you're going to see everything else is more than available. Now the reason why I say this is a typical hardware store or materials market is because this is the most common type of place that you would come to buy things for any kind of remodeling or building of your house, or in the case that I live in an apartment. I actually came here today to change the barrel of the lock in one of the doors. So you can actually come here and find it, versus going to one of the bigger box stores like Leroy Merlin or Obi, which would be more maybe closer to Moscow or further away. I can literally walk to this place from my house and get anything I need on the spot. The actual place here is open every day from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. and that's 7 days a week. And when you come on inside, the one thing that you do notice is there's a lot of things in here, and there's a lot of different little shops or little small businesses, and each one that you come to specializes in a different item. So you'll see the one in front of me here has paints and things for indoor and outdoor painting. These gentlemen right here from Kyrgyzstan, they actually have everything for plumbing. Everybody runs away from the camera. So you'll be able to see here, they've got literally every fixture and fitting that you'd ever want for doing your kitchen or bathroom. And then you just literally come in and tell them what you need, or show them a photo of what you need, and they'll have it somewhere. So this is a specialist plumbing store. They also do the radiators and all of the pipes for the hot and cold water in your house. I just had to stop and say hello to the guys from this plumbing store because they just helped us out a little bit earlier with a pipe we need for our house. and they're super helpful. Literally, the point of coming to one of these places is each shop specializes in a certain item. So you'll see here their plumbing section keeps going. So everything is literally out. There's one of anything. You can choose what you want. Now, on the video, you might see some pricing on the items. Some things are priced and some things aren't. And if you're curious, roughly 100 rubles is $1. So you can get a new toilet for $50 if you want. This shop over here has locks and all sorts of different things. They've got all the barrels and the door handles. They've also got heating elements. Not sure what they use those for. However, when you come here, you always come for one thing, and you always generally end up buying 2 other things because you got distracted when you came into the place. This shop has all the different hand tools, and there is literally hundreds of types, models, and then really it might boil down to your budget about what you want. There is absolutely no shortage of things. They have bolts and nuts here. So these are actually usually by weight, or some of them might be by price, but generally by weight. You can get any type of sanding disc you might like. Now this video might run a little bit long. However, if it's something of interest to you, I think it might find this video fascinating. And you've got one here with all sorts of hand tools. And there's not just 1 or 2 of something. There is 10 or 20 of something. Now, when you come in here generally, you can have a bit of a wander around. But normally if you come here with what you need, or you know what color or size or shape, they'll find it for you. Because the staff in every one of these shops, you know, knows the place inside out. How many types of nails and screws do they have? I really enjoy coming here, although I'm not the best of handymen. I like just to come in and think about what I could do. The size of these bolts that you can buy. So they have literally just aisle after aisle of different things. I think a lot of people would know DeWalt. Now there is, of course, a lot of brands in here that are not internationally well known, and a lot of brands that might be Russian or from the CIS countries. And then they will have some foreign brands, but it's not normally as popular with them in these kind of smaller shops. So the main point of this video, if you're wondering why you're watching it, is to show you the selection and assortment of things that you can get in a smaller materials market like this versus going to a traditional hardware store like in America, Home Depot or Lowe's, or in Australia, Bunnings. This is within walking distance of my house, and pretty much every town would have a Rynek or yarmulke just like this one. I just wanted to point out all of the screws and nuts and bolts. We've got all sorts of different brackets here. And then generally whatever you choose, they've got the little brackets and all sorts of little things in the boxes. And then they weigh it out, and then you just pay by weight. So you just buy it in the number of grams that you want. And it's very overwhelming when you come in here because of the choices. I keep getting stopped by a few different people asking me what I'm filming and what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm in a small town here. Now, I've lived here for a lot of years. I do know a couple of the people that work here and have some of the little shops from time to time when we come to get something. It's not really like a supermarket where you go more often. This particular shop has electrical items, so all the different plugs, sockets, and different things. There is quite a few of these shops that are repeated. Now, the other thing too, there's a lot of honesty about the way they set these up. So all this stuff laid out here belongs perhaps to the shop around the corner. This one's got lots of different larger items, barrels, buckets, containers, and everything. Somewhere's the kitchen sink, as the saying goes. There's more small tools, and it literally just keeps going and going. I do feel like I'm showing you the same shop, but these are all different little stores as I walk around. So there's probably about 50 businesses in here in total. There's another plumbing place. So these have got all the things for bathrooms. So you'd literally generally order something that they don't have in stock, and then they can have it delivered to your house, so you can come and pick it up. Some things they've obviously got in stock, and other things not. There's another paint supplier, and all the different things for painting, brushes. So all of the indoor and outdoor paints. And again, there'll be a lot of non-traditional brands or a lot of local brands. Russia does make a lot of their own things. They don't rely on imports. I did just notice Dulux though. It's the only brand that I'd probably know in terms of all of the brands in a paint shop. Let's keep wandering around. Get yourself a bath, maybe for heating. So this actual place here does have all the heating supplies, and you can see all the different vents that you can use. And then these are the panels that you do for your hot and cold water inside your apartment. And then the vents that you'd have in the kitchen or in the bathroom for air circulation. And the thing is with this, they have got every color, every style, every size, everything you possibly need. Let's show the other plumber that I know, and I've actually been here, and we bought our radiator for the bathroom from here. One of these up the top is the one that we got. And this gentleman has this place, and then that previous place with the bathroom cabinets. He's also got sinks and absolutely every type of fitting and fixture that you might possibly need, right down to just a washer or a nut or bolt. There is actually a second plumbing shop over here on this side. Oh. Hello. And they also have different plumbing items. Now, although the shops look quite similar, they are different owners, and they do generally have a slightly different selection from each other. So you go to one or the other. This one has some, I think mostly for camping or for village houses. So if you want to set up some sort of a basic bed, lots of things for cleaning. Actually, they've also got in here all of the winter gear. So if you want to go camping or hiking or hunting, all of the helmets. Some of these places I've not actually fully walked in before myself. And it's interesting. Have a look how bright this shop is. So they've got essentially one brand of products, but they've got the entire collection from one company. I would imagine this might be from China, I think. And I'm always wrong about this. And then they're from Russia. And I didn't realize, but if you're into collecting the tools from only one company, this would be the place to come to. There's so many small little nooks and crannies that you can walk down. There's another place here with all of these jackets, and some of this is actually workwear as well, where there is quite a lot of the different fishing type of clothing. That's the best way I can describe it. And then if you want to get trim pieces for the walls, so where the walls would be the corners, you can get this plastic and metal trim pieces so that you don't scuff the side of the plaster. Then there's the strips there where you can put between carpet and tiles. There is quite a lot of door shops in here also. So they've actually just got doors set up. So these on the left are all of the external doors, and then all of the internal doors. And then they actually have the price of the door, the price of the trim around the outside, and the fixtures. And then if you want to choose the color of the finish, they've got it literally all there as well. Then we have a bit of an electrical shop. So you can come here and find all of your light bulbs. There is some light fixtures as well. This sort of place wouldn't be really known for getting things that are more ornamental. It's mostly a lot of practical things that they sell in here. If you really want things like these chandeliers, you'd go to a dedicated lighting shop. But for all of the small little items, they have it all in here. You can see switches and resistors and absolutely anything that you want electrical related. All the plugs and different colors as well, so if you want to change up your whole house, you can do that. And we have wallpaper, and this is mostly all of the different fancy types. There's some on clearance. So again, with these sorts of shops, it's all generally by ordering. They might have something in stock that you need, but if you want more rolls of it, you'd simply order it a couple of days later. You can come and get it. There's another shop with outdoor items, so gardening things, and any size and color that you can possibly dream of is available, and more. There's almost things in here that you don't know what you're going to use them for, but you want something because there's so many choices of things. Well, it's really very interesting to walk in. There's a shop here that's got things like blinds and curtains, curtain rods. Someone did mention in a video about fly screen windows. Well, they generally call them here mosquito nets, but you can actually have them put on the outside of your windows. So you'll see this window fixture right here, and then they actually install them hard onto the window, so you can open and close them. And we've actually been to this place for curtains before. There's a couple of businesses either not open or for rent. So a lot of the shops in this sort of a building will be very established. They'll have been here for a lot of years, and then some will come and go, of course. There's more doors. So these are the external doors, mostly for houses, and then for apartments, of course. And this is the internal doors. And then these very strong metal doors. Now, this is very common and very normal in Russia. Some people think that they look too much like a jail or a bank safe. However, the idea also is the thickness of these doors as well, to keep the apartment or house insulated. I don't know why we always need so many locks. However, this is exactly like my apartment door with multiple locks on. And there's a flooring place, all the different types of wood flooring, vinyl flooring. Another electrical supplier. So he's actually split, so he's got half of the store, which is the storage of the pieces, and the other half is everything on display. So if you want the different plugs, sockets, strip lighting, any type of lighting that you dream of, you'll find somewhere in this place. If you want to do tiling, so the idea is you could literally do your entire house or apartment build from this kind of a shop, and generally the prices are not that much different to the bigger hardware stores. And generally in this sort of place they've got more choices and more selection. Now I know that's hard to believe. However, if you look at just this one yarmulke or materials fair, we've not got any shortage of things. Now, I do say it with a little bit of a smile, because if I was to go to my local hardware store in Australia, Bunnings, I think they would have less choices than this small building right here. There's all the different plank flooring, and then you can get the trim for the ceilings. I'm not sure what they're called. Ceiling trim. Let's stick to that. And then if you want to do tiling, they've got plenty of choices. And also for bathrooms as well. They seem to have bathroom tiles and then cameras as well. So they're very multi-skilled, some of the shops, and the amount of different items maybe one shop has. I just love to see how they display things, and the fact that they just put one of everything out, and then you will actually see price tickets on some things and stickers. Not necessarily they know the price of every item. If you want just one small single item, you will find it somewhere here. All of the hooks, door stops. If you want a chain by meter, you can get it. And this is the normal entrance that I come in from, which is the opposite end of where we started the video. And this would be the easiest way for me to walk home as well. And you can walk from here across to the food market. And I was hoping this was open. However, I think he might have gone out for lunch. This is another gardening shop with all the different lawnmowers and different things for your garden. He's actually got a very big snow blower here as well. Of course, now it's the height of warm weather in Russia. You don't really think about it. Another electrical store. So you'll see right from the main boxes down there right to literally just a single light bulb and everything in between. And then even if you want the insulating tube for the wires, they have also. What I'll do a lap around. There's another paint shop and all the different paint supplies. And they do the mixing here as well. So this is all internal and external paint. And then things like for caulking as well. There's a shop here that has windows. So if you want literally to buy the whole frames of windows, they'll do measuring and have them custom made. And then where I actually came to come here today was this door lock shop right here. And this very nice lady helped us out. And I had to change the barrel actually. This one right here that I'll pick up in a little bit. So generally when you move into a house, you'll get the keys and then you'll generally remove the barrel and change the lock to a new one. And have a look at how many door handles there are to choose from. Now, can you please tell me in the comments, do you have shops like this with this selection, with this many choices? And is there a shop with 200 types of hinges, 300 types of handles, and then these are all the different barrel systems and locks for the doors, like we saw the external doors. So you can get any type. So when you come here, you actually generally bring the old one with you, which is what I did. And then she measured it and then found the one in the back that we needed. And we're good. The same small shop where we got that lock from, they also have the doors as well. So they've got internal doors, so they just have it displayed here. And then when you buy a door from here, you can also arrange to have it installed and fixed and replaced, whatever needs to be done. These are the external apartment doors. This absolutely solid doors. I mean, they are a little bit of an overkill, and they're way underly necessary. I'm not sure how I explain it. You don't need doors that thick, but I guess it's a thing, especially if it's a house, perhaps because of the amount of insulation that they have and how thick they are. But for an apartment, I don't think they're quite so necessary. You need foam or this insulating padding right here. Maybe a new mat for outside. And then another electrical shop. So there is quite a lot of them. So there's probably about 5 of every type of shop in this particular market. But they do have slightly different things from each other, especially if you're looking for something that's quite specific. Even batteries. And then all sorts of the different plastic. You can run the wires externally in the walls. So these are the trim pieces that you can use rather than putting the wires in the brick cavity. And then another tool shop and anything for the garden. I've actually been to this store before, and the lady that works here, super helpful. And the easiest thing to do when you come is come with something that you need, or a size or a type if it's a particular item, and they'll find it for you somewhere in this shop. Somewhere in here they've got what you want and what you need, and it's fun looking for it. But if you're in a rush or you're wanting to get on with whatever work you want to do, they'll find it for you. Perhaps a generator, and again all the different tools. Regarding the tools, a lot of these brands are either Chinese or some of them are actually Russian branded products, or they might be some of the more known brands. You'll see here Makita, and they've got a few of the different types of the recognized brands, and then a lot of very well known Russian brands at the same time. So I don't ever want to make this about this brand versus that brand, because if you're not from Russia and you come to live here and you walk into a shop and can't find what you want because you're in another country, then you know you're gonna have to adapt a little bit. There's DeWalt, and then chainsaws. Till I walk in these places, I never realized the amount of different brands they've got and just the different types of products. Have a look at that drill there with almost a cutting bit on it. Probably should have warned everybody that this video might be a little bit long. However, I think it might be interesting, or I know it's interesting for me, and I could walk around without the camera and look at all these different shops and try to think of something that I can do at home. Changing the door lock is my probably most technical thing I've got to do at the moment to our house. One thing to take note of, I am currently walking around in the afternoon on a Thursday, and this is an absolutely normal amount of people in here. Generally people are in here on the weekends. This is a working day in Moscow. So everybody in the town where I live are at work, and the odd person that you see here might be on a day off or is working from home perhaps, and you know, has a chance to come and get what they need. But generally Saturdays and Sundays, this is a very busy place to come to. I was lucky today with my wife having a half day off. We could come together and get what we wanted. I'm walking down the middle part here because I don't think I quite showed everything. It's really interesting too when you think about all the little small tools or personal tools that you might just have for your house, and then you can get things like these big tile cutters, and then incredibly big drill bits, and then right down to just normal items or classic things that you'd use around the house. Just the endless aisles of things. Now that I reach the middle part of the building, the light is just beaming in here, and it's so easy to walk around some of them. Some of them are actually a little bit more like a rabbit warren when you go in, and then others are just that much brighter. Again, all the different tools. So again, branded tools, and then some of the Russian or Chinese brands mixed in together. It's just a matter of deciding what your budget is, how much you want to spend. So you want these sorts of kits, like this home kit. My wife keeps wanting me to buy something, I just don't know what to use it for. And then you've got paintbrushes. Boots for the garden. If you want some rope, perhaps to tie up your boat somewhere, I'm not too sure. I think it's ornamental, really. And then, again, all of the different brands. If you just want a certain type of cutting blade, they have it. Or if you want something that you didn't think you need, they have it here. I don't think I pointed out the size of this sandpaper. Just comes in 1 meter sheets. It's really incredible. So you'll see on a shop like this, there's about 5 shops that they've combined together into one. So it's a one-stop shop for one of anything. And then some of the smaller little booths just specialize in one item. So this gentleman's only got the paints, and then one gentleman has only plumbing items. So it's just a matter of finding the item that you wanted and then deciding how much you need of it. Now, let me know what you call these. In Australia, we've got one word for them, and I think places like America and England have another word. I wonder if we've got the same description, these stretchy things that you use to tie things down with. Look at the size of this. This is almost anchor chain, the one at the bottom there. Well, when the staff go out for lunch or go for a break, they just put a little bit of wood across the entrance and walk on out. And that whole trust factor with someone walking in, you know, generally the person in the shop next to them will be looking after the place. But there's so much honesty in places like this where everything's just laid out and sitting out for you to touch and grab. This is the thing in Russia. There is absolute honesty amongst the locals, and it's no problems to walk into a place like that if there's nobody here, that you just politely wait until the staff member comes. I really am here about lunchtime. I just noticed a few of the little shops with the wooden sticks up. There's the insulation there for the damp-proof course, and then things like the squares, every type of hammer possible. So I hope this is an interesting walk around, or at least an insight into what's available in a Russian tool market or materials market. I think that's the right word to call it. As I walk on outside, I've picked up my lock that I needed, and the lady gave us a choice over a product from Italy, China, or Turkey. And this one actually is Turkish, but it has all of the Russian writing on it. And I'm fairly sure in Australia we have Yale, and this one is Kale. I wonder if there's any relation to that at all. Coming outside to the car park, there is actually more suppliers, and this is more bulk items, so things like timber, bricks, cement, and they have absolutely as much or a little as you like. And they've got storage all over the place. So if you want to literally build an entire house, you can find it somewhere here. And then all little shops outside have different specialist items. Things like guttering, and then the fascia for the roofs. And I just noticed the next one further down here. So this has got windows. And then they also have bird boxes. Oh, look at that. You can get yourself a nice bird box if you want to. I didn't even know they had that sort of thing for sale. It's incredibly sunny on this side of the building. It's a bit hard to get a bit of an idea. And I'm fairly sure this might be a lawnmower repair guy. So he probably sells new models and fixes old models. And he's got hundreds of them just stacked up. So if you need parts or spare parts, this is who you'd come to and bring your lawnmower for maybe a service. And he's got the part for what you need somewhere here. Hopefully when I get home, my neighbor's cat can help me install the new lock on our door. Or I'm gonna have to look up this company's website and this cat can come and give me a hand. One of the things I'll say about this yarmulke that I went to here, now when you're doing remodeling of your house or your apartment, you might end up coming here 2 or 3 times on the same day, because even when you think you've got everything, you need one more item or one more bolt or screw or a different size of a tool. And the fact that I can walk 5 or 7 minutes from my house to come here, that's why people love this kind of a store. And if I literally go to the next town down the highway from here, about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, there's another yarmulke, pretty much exactly like this, for all the people in the next town. And we don't have to then find places like Leroy Merlin, which you've seen an old video on the channel of. And we don't have to go to the big company stores. You can go to these smaller shops like this and get a little bit more personal service. And they're specializing in a certain product that you might want. You'll see just off in the distance there on the right, the building that we came out of, that blue building. And then just how close the apartments are here. And I'm only 5 minutes walk to my building. These are the only apartment buildings in our town. All the rest are more traditional houses or smaller 5-level apartments. And these were only built about 15 years ago. So it's a relatively new area. So imagine how many people from these apartments went to that materials shopping center right there. I really hope you've enjoyed this video today and this walk around of a Russian typical hardware store. And this is incredibly typical. No matter where you live in Russia, somewhere within either walking distance or driving distance, you can find one of these homewares markets, material markets. Kind of has a few different names. And I wonder for everybody watching, are you jealous that there's so many things? Or are you happy with the sort of hardware shop where you live? Now, I'm not comparing apples and apples, because we're in a different country and everyone tells me, you know, Moscow is not Russia. Russia is not Moscow. Now we're in Moscow region here. We're about 50 kilometers from Moscow. If I literally walk that highway or go down the road by bus, I'll be in Moscow in about 1 hour by public transport or by car, depending on traffic. However, this regional yarmulke is as normal as they come, and I repeat that a few times because this is not a special store. This is just my local one where I can come to. However, if I was to live in Ufa, where my wife is from, we could go to a very similar place, just exactly like that. Of course, living here, you actually get to know some of the people that work there, and it's really nice when you go back that they treat you like family, which I think is really nice. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, post a comment, let me know what you think. If you like this kind of video, perhaps you might want to subscribe for more videos. I'm an Australian living here in Moscow region. I make videos about life in Russia, and there's lots of other videos on the channel you might want to check out. If you want to join me on Telegram, I've got a link right here. And if you want to watch an old video, you can check out something on the channel you haven't seen before. Keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.